Hi everyone, welcome back to Evermore Explore, and in today's video is everything you need to know if you're new to lure fishing. And you've got myself, Chris,
and Chris 2.
Right, Chris, do you want to dive in, mate?
So basically the first rod we've got is the Diver Lure Special. It's a 9-foot rod with basically casting weight 7 to 35 grams. It's not too bad. Casts okay-ish, I get on with it.
Bit stiff that one though,
yeah, a bit stiff, yeah. And then also we got the ends of it, we got the tips just down there. That basically will show you you can see on the camera. Not too bad. Goes quite well, the real seat holds quite well as well. Yeah. So the second rod is the Abu Garcia Devil Spin. This is one of my favourite ones. You want blue? This is a 9-foot, yes, 10 to 30 gram weight, and it chucks out awesome lures.
This one as well though, isn't it? This was actually quite a good budget starting rod, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
How much was that one again? 40. I think it was 40. Something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So basically, it, like, you know, when you're starting lure fishing, you don't need to spend out, you know, crazy amounts of money just to get into the hobby. You can start yourself with a lovely £40 rod. I mean, I've used this rod personally as well, and you know, as an all-rounder for, you know, the rubber lures, the metal wedges and stuff like that, and obviously wigless, all sorts. It is a good rod. This Dayware on the other hand though, we did find it to be quite stiff.
Yeah.
Especially when the casting weight was meant to be 7 grams.
Yeah.
So, you know, really, when you go out and buy a rod, obviously have a feel of it. Obviously ask, you know, tackle shop who's running it at the time. They'll be able to supply you with all the information you need. But like I said, you don't need to spend crazy amounts of money to, you know, get into the hobby. I mean, when you get the right outfit for it, you know, the right reel setup, and everything you want to do with it, it's perfect. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, for price wise, you can't go wrong, can you?
Yeah, the next one, the Devil Spin here, is, I'd say personally for me, that one there is better. But it's obviously personal choice, really, isn't it?
It is preference, yeah. I mean, but if you're getting into the hobby,
if you're using the lightest lures, you can cast them. They just go wrong.
Oh, they rock it. Especially you put a 28 gram metal wedge on there, or an ISPC colour. I tell you now, they're bullets. Yeah. Especially and into the wind as well. They fly. They absolutely fly. So next on, we've got my rods. See, I prefer more mid-range. So you know, I'm using a 9-foot Abu Vendetta. Caster weights, you know, 15 to 40, and it's everything I needed it to do. I can cast out obviously the bit more heavier lures and get that extra distance. Helps big time, obviously. You know, if you want to hit that deeper water.
Well,
but for activity, but for sensitivity in the tip is just amazing. You get obviously the feedback of your lures. You can feel them working up for your rod. And for your line, which is good. Obviously, contact with your lure, feeling what it's doing in the water is obviously very important. A bit more of a pricier range. This one was you can pick them up now between 70 and 90 quid. Depends where you buy them from. But I bought mine when it was in the sale years ago for 70 quid. But they still make them. They got the updated version of this now. I do prefer the old version because the reel seat's quite nice on it. But that's again preference choice.
Well, when you brought that casts, this one here, using a bit more heavier casts, a lot better, a bit more farther than this one from the Devil. But it's obviously because it's different weights.
Yeah, weight. Yeah, definitely.
Like that. But it's, Abu's always been.
But don't let that put you off.
Yeah, Abu's always been.
Well, this Devil Spin, I mean, it still casts like a bullet.
Yeah.
It don't get us wrong. It still does go far.
That casts better with lighter stuff. That casts better, a bit more heavier.
Bit more heavier.
But
yeah.
The Abu company is all.
I mean, yeah, and obviously you've got other makes out there. You know, you've got Abu, you've got Penn, you've got Mitchell, you've got millions of variety of budget starting equipment.
Daiwa, which is the end one, that's also really good. They make really good ones. They got Shakespeare Ugly Stick, which is more of a boaty thing, but.
Well, no, you can get the lure section of it, yeah. Obviously, you've got H2O, Savage Gear do their own. But then you're going up in money, obviously. Yeah. There is a higher price range you can go. There's rods up there that, you know, worth thousands for this game. But this is more, you know, obviously you're new to the sport. And obviously, people out there, obviously, you know all this already. Obviously, you will know what we're talking about in the video already. This is for obviously the new people who are all new to this, budget starting, you know, just to get you going. But anyway, on to the next rod. This was a bit of a different one, this one really, isn't it, Chris? So basically this one, it's a 2.5 pound test curve carp rod. Now, most people think, you know, when they're new to the hobby, you can't use these rods for sea. You can, they work absolutely fine. All-rounder rod, you can use it for a lure rod. Well, not lure rod, sorry, but more heavier, really heavy lures. You know, 1.5 ounces up. But you can bottom with it, you can float with it. You know, it's a perfect little all-rounder. Very cheap, you know, price. This was 9 foot, this one, that's preference choice, but you can get 12 foot and bigger. They all start, you know, around that £20 mark upwards, so they're nice and cheap, and they're quality made for the price that you're paying for them. But what this eliminates is, you know, this is a brilliant feathering rod. I wouldn't put my light lures on it like I do with the Abu, because they're two different rods. But this rod itself, I mean, if you want to put feathers on, it'll get you that distance on this rod. You're not, most people, when they're new to the hobby, will get a beach caster, you know, 9 to 12 foot beach caster, and they'll have a very heavy outfit on the rod. And you know, after half an hour of using the rod, the arm will be knackered, tired, because of the weight, and then linging out, you know, 3 ounces up. With this rod, 2 ounce weight, set of feathers, you're casting way further than most people you'll see on the pier with a 12 foot beach caster.
Yeah, with feathers it looks all ideal.
Yeah, and you know, these beach casters, they're only casting out sometimes when people are new to the hobby, you know, 20, 40 yards, whereas this rod here on feathers, I could fling this personally, you know, a good 90 yards, if not more.
Especially in the summer, you'll be able to pull out mackerel all the time.
Oh,
feathers on it, and it'd be ideal to bring in, really.
But it's a brilliant all-round.
You whack like a feather on this one, that's going to be bending, and
it's not
really designed, but this one here, designed for it, really.
It is. It's holds your strain, you know, 2.5 pound test curve, so it's strong enough. It's just a lovely all-rounder, really. But that's my outfit anyway. But like I said, preference, and if you're new to this is a good way, you know, to get into the hobby and for cheap, basically.
Yeah. The next one, we'll talk about the reels.
Reels, yes.
Yeah. So basically, the first reel, Ron's, if I can pronounce it properly. I got this about a few years ago, just a cheap one-off, but it's done me really well.
It goes to show, doesn't it?
It's a 3,000 spinning ideal, really.
Nice and cheap.
Yeah,
it just goes to show you.
But it's really smooth. It's got front drag, obviously goes back. It's got a reverse gear on it. Only got what line? We've got 15 on it, I think, at the moment.
Yeah.
But I'll probably end up changing that.
Yeah, but you've got your rubber leaders on that,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I've got to show you that as well. It's not too bad. It's got 6 point plus 1 ball bearing in it. Yeah, it's done me well.
I mean, for your budget entry, it's what you're looking for.
Yeah, might have to get.
Don't be put off by budget wheels. Some can be obviously on the nasty cheap side, but this itself has lasted, you know, a few years.
Yeah.
Obviously wear and tear on the outside, you're going to get that anywhere you go by dropping it and stuff. But I've had a go on it. It's still really smooth. It's a good reel. How much was that again?
Oh god.
Really cheap, wasn't it? It's like 20 quid or something.
Like that,
yeah, and it's a lovely lure reel for what it is. It really is.
Yeah.
Then obviously you come up the price a little bit. Now, this reel is a Penrath. It's a 2,500 size. I run on it at the moment, £12 line with an £18 rubbing leader. Again, preference. Some people, you know, have 15 on their line with £20 rubber leader. Some people 10 with 15 rubber leader. Again, preference. But that's how I run my reel. But this reel itself, for value and reliability, you can't go wrong. I had this on sale for 35. They were 60 new, but at the moment I think that's what they dropped because obviously got a new model out. So these are cheap at the moment. So if you can get your hands on one of these, I'll show you the box. So this is the box for it. Penrath. Lovely bit of kit. Again, perfect for lure fishing and a really bargain price, and you can't go wrong. Like I said, reliability is there, and you know, I think that's got warranty with mine if anything goes wrong with it at a certain amount of time. But like I said, for money, if you want to spend a bit more, that is a good choice. But then onto this reel. This is again freshwater setup. So this whole outfit is a freshwater setup. This is a rear drag freshwater reel, 40 RD size. Again, running 12-pound line with 18-pound rubber leader, more than enough for what I'm doing. And again, don't let freshwater put you off. Sometimes you can get a good deal on freshwater gear and just use it for sea stuff. Obviously change the line on it. If you buy a reel second hand, it's got freshwater gear, always change the line, because normally, you know, for £6 breaking strain, because they're only freshwater fishing. Yeah. But make sure with all the reels that you're buying that, you know, they haven't got too much of a small spool, because you'll find if you go too much of a small reel, you ain't going to be able to cast as far, and you're going to strip all your line off, and chance a break in the process. But I mean,
especially when you get snags and you lose a lot of line in all these reels here.
Yeah.
And then you go to, I'll go fishing again, and then you get
it's
cast, and then it goes and then it ends up bottoming up.
It's not a nice feeling.
Make sure, and every time I'd say, what do you say? A couple of weeks, fresh line on.
Well, no, it depends. It's every. I tend to change my line every 8 times I go out.
Yeah.
Because obviously, you know, casting, reeling, all that time, you're putting a lot of strain on your line, and over time it will come brittle, especially when, you know, seawater's in the mix, stored in there, because it always stores seawater on the backhand. But yeah, obviously maintaining the surface, we can obviously do another video for that another time.
Yeah.
If we're missing bits, please put in the comments down below. Obviously this is our first tutorial video, so bear with us. But yeah, so that's your basic outfit to start with. You know, nice and cheap, budget affordable, and you know, you can go to anywhere, any stores. All information is obviously other videos on YouTube if you want to look more detail for gear. Yeah. But that's what that is. Yeah, so give us 2 minutes and we will be back to go on to our lure selection. Is that right?
Yeah, the lure selection. Yeah.
Right, we'll see you shortly.
Right, we're back and we're on to the metal lures, and the first one. Hang on. So the first one is a Toby Lure. It's more of a shallow, medium diver really. Goes for, I say the fish range is bass, mackerel, I would say, on these ones. They more kind of flutter down like this, spin a lot. Different variety of colours. So you got blue, silver, and a green with red spot, so 18 gram as well. Really awesome little Toby spinners. Good when you go on the rod and you just jig it lightly like that, and then they'll just flutter.
They do, yeah. They're good for, you know, shallower waters, you know, like bass and stuff like that.
Even probably.
I mean, you do hear pollock coming off them, you know, obviously the smaller pollock in the shallower waters, but I mean, these are like for light shore fishing, whereas obviously jigs are heavier, the sinkers.
Yeah, so they're really good colours, really
good
shiny.
Good fishing as well.
Yeah. And it's got a comfortable swivel on that, so that's what makes it basically spin around. Literally,
you just tie your line to it, and you're on your way. Like.
Nice little treble hook on the back as well. Obviously, don't do what I did a minute ago and spike myself.
We'll talk about the hooks as well in a minute as well. I want to talk about that. So anyways, back on to the metal jigs now. So we obviously start with lighter weights, 21 grams. You can get a lot lighter than these, depending obviously what rod you're running, obviously. But yeah, these here generally, when I'm out pollock fishing, you know, obviously I like a nice redhead. These are generally my pollock favourite colours. There are other colours as well. Pink's a big one. Same for cod as well. Cod and pollock love pink. Don't know why, they just do. But I mean, for the money, I mean these here, these are the H2O range, and these are only £2 each. It does add up if you get a snaggy area, which we have done many times. But sometimes, you know, when you get that area just right and you get to know it, these tend to last longer. So anyways, again, these are more for deeper depths. They're heavier, they sink a lot better. They cast like bullets, mind. You can get some long range casting on these. But what I wanted to come back on was, obviously with these conventional lures, you come standard with treble hooks. Now, I'm not a big fan of them. I do still use them, but not as much as I used to.
It can be a pain in it when you get mackerel and then it gets.
Yeah, mackerel, swallow that. Obviously, if it's a returnable mackerel, you don't want it going back dead. And you know, the foul hooks I've seen of these that make a mess of fish. It's just not nice, especially if you catch and release, which 90% of the time we keep the odd one, don't we? Sometimes for a bit of food, but that's it, or bait, you know. But generally, I don't like fishing with them. And also, I've seen people hook themselves up on these loads of times. Me and Chris both, we've had our incidents. He's had one in the eye, I've had one in the back, and they're not nice. So what I tend to fish with, majority of my jigs will have a single hook like that. You know, nice and easy. Some people break the barb, obviously preference. I generally like to keep the barb because obviously it stops the fish coming off a lot easier. But this lure itself, I love these. This is a lure from Savage Gear. Now this is a 40 gram ISP. Now these do literally cast like bullets. They're amazing in the surf. You can see on YouTube loads of videos of people using these, and the catch rate and the action on these are amazing. Literally, they really are. I've yet to use this one yet, this kind of colour, but they come in mixed range of colours again. A little bit on the pricey side. These come in, you know, $5.99 upwards. So obviously, if you lose one of them, it's a really bad day. But it's the price you pay with fishing. But like I said, this is like, you know, if you're starting, you know, you got the cheaper sections, you know, £2. In a minute, we're going to go on to these wedges. You know, you can get these ridiculously cheap prices. I fish with the bigger ones, which are 35 and 28 grams, and they're only about what, £1.29 each.
Yeah,
they're cheap. Or you could buy packs on eBay, you know, $7.99 for a pack of them in a variety of different weights, etc.
So basically, the Dexter wedges we've got here, so we've got 10 gram, so it's 7 and a 5. The 5 would be basically if you're using an ultra light rod, really.
Yeah.
Ultra light gear. Even I struggle to cast that. You could basically, there's another little trick you could do is daisy chain these. So you've got a 5, you can take the hook off the 7 and just multiply like that, and obviously use this hook, and then it adds weight, gets down faster. Obviously with the bigger ones you don't need to do that really. But the fish they go after, is get bass, pollock, mackerel, you can get wrasse off them even.
Especially in the deep. Yeah. You hit those deep marks, you know, where you're, you know, deep water's in close. These, when they flutter down, obviously they don't sink as fast as the heavier ones. The lighter gear sometimes could be the most deadly gear.
Yeah.
But again, it's depending obviously what your whole rod outfit is.
Yeah.
You know, you can get rods crazy, you know, 2 grams to 12 grams, which these would fling, they would fly. But they just work nice in the water for nice big pollock anyway, in those deep water areas. And obviously if you're targeting small species as well, they're also amazing for that.
So I did have a 28 gram version of these, and we took it down with a gaving in it. That was good, except for the snag.
Yeah, the snag rate was unreal.
The 28 gram on that little devil spin rod I showed you, it was just flinging out all the time. Then when you go down in size, it kind of struggles a bit. Obviously, if a windy day, you're gonna have no chance. It's just gonna take it, and it won't sink. But if you daisy chain them, that would work even better either. Dexter wedges, I've always used them. Really good little lure.
I will say though, guys, like I said, those who already do this sport, we don't need to tell you, you know what you're doing. Yeah. This is for people who are new to the hobby, and just as a heads up, obviously this can become expensive. Especially if you have a bad day, like I said earlier, you know, we've been out before, I must have lost, what, 30 quid's worth of lures. Depends on the areas, you know, you get some areas that are really snaggy, so just be careful, learn your spots. You know, sometimes just get some really cheap lures and then if you go to a new area, use the cheap ones first. Yeah. So you don't lose your good ones, because then you get to know the bottom. That is very important.
If you get to know the area with a cheap one, and then you know, oh, this is alright, and then you can chuck out, like, say for example, one of these. These are really 21 gram H2O things. except for basically the different grids with this one. They haven't got the little hook on it, they've got a treble on the back. And this one is the rainbow, which is one of the he's using as well, isn't he?
They're desirable, I mean, mixed species.
And then obviously you've got different colours, you've got blue, yellow, and also you've got a red. And that, obviously different hook on it, just tied this one on. But yeah, you get different colours on all of them. Choose your preference on any of them really, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's obviously knowing your spot as well, knowing what the fish are taking. It's just try and lure after lure basically. You know, you learn the area, you learn what the fish like and what they take. You know, some days they might take, you know, say this colour, and then some days they won't take it and they're being finicky and they'll take that colour. And also as well, when lure fishing, it's very, very important for water clarity. If you've got really mucky watercolour, you know, where, you know, it's very bad visibility, you're not, if anything, if you are, you're not going to catch. Your catch rate's going to drop dramatically if you're lure fishing. That's why when murky waters, if you want to go fishing, whack a nice stinky bait out. But when it comes to lure fishing, water clarity is a biggie. The better the clarity, the more visibility of your lure. And yeah, the fish can see it a lot easier. Because obviously, yeah, it's what they hunt off, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
They hunt off
it's like
sight and smell.
These ones here, even if you've got a set of waders on, going in the surf,
yes,
they'll be really good for that, because I've seen people do it in waders.
Well, this is what this Savage gear is now for at the moment, aren't they? These ISPs, they are making big talk in the lure world, especially in surf conditions. These are amazing in surf. It's been a good lure company, really good lure company, aren't they, really? Well, we're going to jump on that more Savage gear in a bit, actually.
But yeah,
that's those for the minute.
Metal lures at the moment. We'll move on to the rubbers.
Again, fish range, guys, quickly before I go. Anything really, from mackerel to pollock, wrasse, bass, maybe even cod. They take quite a big mixed range. It's good fun, light gear, amazing battles on the rods. You can't get no better, literally. The fishing experience becomes fun. There's nothing better. Going down to a rock mark with hardly any gear. You've got one little bag, you drink and your light gear set up, and you're in the water. Yeah. It's quick as that. It's amazing.
With a light rod and you got a big size fish on. You know, you're smiling for days, isn't it?
Oh yeah, you know, when you winch at a fish on a beach caster and stuff, yes, it's fun going out catching fish. But when you're on these rods, it's
someone else.
You're there, it's like you're there with the fish, you're fighting with the fish, you feel everything, you don't miss a beat, but it's amazing. More reason to start the hobby.
Yeah.
Right, we'll jump back onto the lures in a second, see you in a minute. Right guys, onto the rubber lures now. Those again, you know, a mixed variety. Also within the rubber lures, we've also got the hard plastics, you know, the surface poppers, divers, different obviously depths on the divers as well. But first of all then, let's jump on to the Savage gears. Some of my favourite preferences. I mean, this one here, it's like a sand eel colour, and
bass killer.
It is a bass killer, yeah. We've had majority of, when bass fishing with rubber lures, this one has always been the best one, especially on those murky water days. You know, if there's still a bit of clarity, these fish well. Again, different sizes you can choose from. Brilliant little paddle tails, they swim really well in the water as well. Good for money. I forget what the price is with these. I think it's, you get 2 jigs and 3 bodies, and it's $6.50 starting price.
Yeah, so the jig heads will come with it. It'll look like this. This was a bit worn. Yeah, you get about, was it 2 or 3 of them, don't you?
Two in a pack of 3 bodies, I believe.
25 grams, I think, on this one.
And obviously when you add in the weight of the tail as well, it obviously all comes. So it's always worth as well double checking if you've got scales, the grammage, just in case you over exceed the rods. But I've also got a pearl cutter on this here. This is brilliant. I found in surf conditions as well, or off the rocks for bass. They love the bit of the pearl if the conditions are right. The pink ones for pollock. These are killers. These are. Had mackerel on these as well.
Also, you get the little flutter tail ones as well. So basically, you've got the paddle tail down here, and then you've got the flutter tails here. They're really
wrasse killers.
Really good, yeah.
For wrasse, they go mental.
Well, so it's really good. And then also you got the little wheel used about a few years ago.
Rhubarb.
Yeah, it's good based on a boom. You just jig it up and down. And yeah, bang, straight away. Get a bass.
Now also we've got a nice selection of weedless lures. Chris can go through the jigs with you as well, because I actually haven't currently got my jigs at the moment. I've misplaced them. But where, I don't know.
So basically, yeah, this one here, I bought this a few days ago. It was Surfcast 360s, I think. This is a weedless setup. I've still yet to use these 4 down here. Ignore these. Yeah, a little tiny. I think they're 19 grams.
I think they are, yeah.
Yeah, 19 gram little weedless setups. Normally, basically, I think there's a bit of design thought on them. There, basically, it should sit in like that. Obviously, fish comes along, bang, pops up. Obviously, when it's swimming around. As soon as you drop in the water, they start action straight away. They're brilliant little things. And obviously, a different colour there, little shiny one. And these ones here, this is not weedless now. Is the other one I bought the other day? It's the same company, 360 again. If you look on the scales, still yet to use it, but it's a brilliant, looks
the imitation of, you know, like a scad or something, it's brilliant. Like that all day bass killer, I reckon.
Yeah, oh, every day, yeah. Then I've got, there we go, 2 more weedless ones here set up. Not too bad. Still, I haven't used it. You have used it?
Yeah. Now I've caught on this. I've had a couple of schoolies on that bass. Not yet the catch on the sidewinder ones though. Not had much luck on them, but I do need to give them more trial and error. But I do have this weedless. Now these are a company called Black Minnows, and they have been, you know, also renowned up there for, you know, quality of the lure. Expensive, yes. Unfortunately, in the these kind of lures, they are very expensive. But I mean, you can get cheaper ones. They may not work as well, but they will still catch fish. You don't always have to break the bank, but again, preference, you might just want to stick to metals or plastics, which we're going on to, etc. But I mean, weedless game saves you so much tackle loss.
Yeah, it does, yeah. It's like these ones here, the massive hook on it. These are more for boats, really. Red gills.
Red fishing.
Really good for bass. Lost a few, but these are things ones I've got left at the moment. But yeah, they're really more designed for a boat, but you can use them offshore.
Not just that, with weedless as well, you're not just, you're less snagged in areas, and also you can really get into some areas where the fish are, where a normal hook system wouldn't allow you.
Yeah. So next is the plastics. This one here is a deep diver. You can see the fin right at the front. Basically designed to, obviously what I said, designed go deep. 2 big treble hooks on the back. Good bass. What would you say, Paul?
No,
more bassy, I would say, because obviously it's got the really good colour. So it's got a little, if you can hear, a little ball in it as well. All the sound effects. And then
so the reason for the balls inside is, you know, when it's going through the water, it sends a vibration pitch through the water. Obviously, the fish can pick up on that.
Yeah.
And
this one here is not a so deep diver, more of a middle. And then you got this one here. It's a shallow one. You can see the little fins on it. But they all do the same principle, really. This one here, more of a float on. Basically on top of the surface, you just jig it nice like that, and it spits water. And then sometimes you get lucky and you see a bass come up and bang straight away. Really good to watch.
Now, how much was those again, Chris? It was a 4-pack, those,
it was a
wasn't it?
4-pack for £15. That's cheap. Why are you getting it?
Yes. Now, this is where it gets important. The quality of these can keep up with, say, this is one of my old ones. This is an actual Rapala. Now, Rapala are known for being in the game. They've been in the game for years, before even lure fishing took off like it had. Now these lures can go up to hundreds of pounds, and obviously that's just crazy money, and obviously each to their own preference. If you've got the money, go ahead, but these are amazing. But for quality reference, there's not actually much difference in them. Obviously, you know, the dorsal fin may not have as much strength as the Rapala, but overall, as long as you don't bang them around on the rocks and keep them, you know, away from anything like that, or dropping them, they'll last for ages. I mean, yes, you probably have to change the hooks, yes, the hook holder rings, but I mean, for a lure that you can say last you ages, this will catch fish just as much as a 100-pound lure all day long.
There's another bit to add as well. Say you got big ones like this, when you're actually reeling in, it feels, you might get mistaken.
Yes, it feels
on it as well.
It can feel like a small.
It goes, yeah, basically it imitates something, but it's because of the weight. They're not heavy, but it just feels.
It can imitate like a small mackerel,
Yeah,
like a joey mackerel,
yeah.
or a little lance. It imitates something.
Like and then you bring it in, and you got your lure there. So the next thing, is the little rubber worms. This one here, actually, really good for pollock. I've got a red one. This one here is a black with red firetail. They're basically called firetails, and you can. Better for boats, I'd say.
Well, you can fish.
Yeah, you can fish it. Basically, with a boom again, you just jig up and down, and they basically just imitate, obviously, a worm. This one's a glow-in-the-dark one, but you can use them offshore. I've done it before.
Yeah, I mean, there's many methods for this.
Or you can put jig head.
Yeah, you can use jig heads for these, use them from the shore. Obviously, slow reel, slow wind, let a lot of the water do the work with them, because obviously, being a worm, etc. But obviously on wrecks and reefs they work really good as well. So you can set these on sets of 3, you know, running down on a boom, so you can bring up 3 fish at a time. Especially when wreck fishing, your possibility chance rate goes up a lot. But for casting, I've seen people use multipliers casting these before. Not my preferred option, admittedly. I'd rather just use a lure rod, nice, simple and light, but I've seen people casting these at crazy distances with lure rods, and obviously when you're in that deep of water, you are obviously targeting better fish, bigger species. Not saying that they don't come in close, that they do, but you're covering more area, basically. You are hitting a lot more area, but they're amazing. They're brilliant for pollock. So that's our quick roundup today, guys. Thank you for watching. If there's anything we've missed, because obviously this is all new to us, we're still learning the basics, but not with the fishing, but with the channel. If we've missed anything, drop in the comments below. If there's anything that you want to see, drop in the comments below also. And we will keep making videos like this, as well as our outings as well. So I hope this has been helpful for some people. For those who are new to the sport and hobby, we wish you the best of luck. And
if you have any advice, just give us a comment if you want any help with anything. Yeah,
exactly what Chris said. Anything if you want any personal help, or you know, information and stuff, drop us a message. We'll always be happy to help out. But like I say, keep in contact with us. We will, you know, make videos to what people are wanting and what they're after, and what they want to know, or what they want to learn to know, and we'll do our best to do you some content.
If you like this, remember to press that subscribe button as well.
Yes, like and subscribe down below. Turn a
little bell notification on if you want to basically get updated.
It helps us with the channel, and it helps us bring more content to you guys, and it helps us out in the long run. But thank you again for watching. This was Evermore Explore with me, Chris, and
Chris.
Cheers to God.